What is the meaning of life?
Pick up your damn suffering.
What must be sacrificed?
The simplest and most direct answer is to pursue pleasure.
Rule number 7, pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient.
In Chapter 7, Peterson guides us toward a meaningful life by acknowledging life's inherent suffering and the importance of sacrifice and delayed gratification. After understanding these two concepts, we can explore how to lead a meaningful life. So first of all, life is suffering.
Well, you accept it. That's what life is like. It's suffering. That's what the religious people have always said. Life is suffering. Yes. Well, who wants to admit that? Well, just think about it. Well, so what do you do in the face of that suffering? Try to reduce it. How do you overcome the suffering of life? Is be a better person. That's how you do it. Well, that's hard. It takes responsibility. And I think, if you said to someone, you want to have a meaningful life? Everything you do matters. That's the definition of a meaningful life. But everything you do matters. So you're going to have to carry that with you.
What can be done about life's inherent suffering? The simplest and most direct answer is to pursue pleasure, follow impulses, and live for the moment. Do what's expedient. This approach justifies immediate selfish gratification. Well, we do all know that the pleasure of expediency may be fleeting, but it's still a pleasure, and that provides some relief from the terror and pain of existence. You might wonder, why not just grab every opportunity and take whatever you can get right now? Or is there a more powerful and meaningful alternative? So it implies not grabbing everything right now. In more profound terms, it's about embracing delayed gratification. And within this idea, there's a powerful concept encapsulated by the word sacrifice.
So the terror of the future is a dream. And the solution to the terror, the dream of the terror of the future, is another dream. And it comes out in mythology and in fantasy and in drama, where you act out the sacrifice. Sacrifice, what does that mean, sacrifice? Well, it's a discovery, man. It's the discovery of the future. It's like the future is actually the place where there is threat. And it's always going to be there. So what do? You make sacrifices in the present so that the future is better. Right. Everyone does that. That's what you're doing right now. That's what you're doing here. That's what your parents are doing when they pay money to send you to university. They think, you can bargain with reality. It's amazing. You can bargain with reality. You can forestall gratification now. And it'll pay off at a place and time that doesn't even exist yet.
Well, so far we've talked about life being suffering, and we definitely need to accept it. Then another term came up, sacrificing. However, what must be sacrificed? Is there any guarantee that sacrificing the present will improve the future? Or should we change our question to this? How good might the best possible future be if the most sacrifice could be made? Honestly, I am confused with the ideas in this chapter. I'm asking myself whether doing something meaningful means I have a meaningful life and I could already find the meaning of life. I don't know yet. Let's see what something meaningful from Peterson's point of view is. After that, I will come with some questions and kindly ask you to share your thoughts with me.
You found something to do that announced itself as worthwhile. That's meaning. It's an instinct. Like it's a deep instinct. It's maybe the deepest instinct. It's like a form of vision, except it's not like an embodied sense. It's not a specified sense. Meaning tells you when you're in the right place. And the right place is between chaos and order. And those are real places. Your hemispheres, like your right hemisphere is roughly evolved, let's say, to deal with things you don't understand. That's chaos. And your left is there to deal with things you do understand. And you can't just stay with the things you do understand because you already understand them. And you can't just stay with what you don't understand because then you're lost.
Yeah.
Well, you need to be in the middle of those two. And you can tell when you're in the middle because everything lines up and you feel engaged and that what you're doing is meaningful. It's like that's what you pursue. Expedience is you do the thing that gets you off the hook the fastest right now. Well, you play that game across time, it doesn't work. It sends you down because you're sacrificing the future for the present. Meaning doesn't do that. Meaning says, I'm here where I should be. And you can't tell why, it's just that everything is right. And you get this physiological sense. Right place, right time, right conversation. You're in the right place at the right time. Okay, why? What did I do right? What did I do? I need to do more of that. So maybe it's only half an hour a week when you first start noticing. And then maybe with 3 months of practice, you can get it up to like an hour a day. And then maybe you can get it up to 4 hours a day. And God only knows where you could get it if you keep practicing, you know. You can be there. We don't know what the upper limit of that is.
My question is this, based on Peterson's talk and chapter 7. Meaning is the place that we find ourselves at the right time. So behind this statement is the idea that we should be satisfied with something that we are doing right now, which means we should enjoy the moment. But isn't it the opposite of the idea of sacrificing the moment for the future? For example, for people who are perfectionists, it is hard to convince themselves that the moment is satisfying. They struggle to grab the right moment and the right place in the present to feel the meaning. So are they losing meaning in their lives? I do not know. Maybe I am making myself confused, but I really need to find the answers. To end this video, let's watch this part of the Joe Rogan podcast about the meaning of life. It can be an idea of another video and discussion, even if it is not so related to the previous part of this video. And please share your thoughts with me. Take care, my friends.
But it's got to be personal, right? But I have to establish for myself what it could and could not be. And that gave me some level of peace. So now I don't have to keep asking that question.
What is the meaning of life?
I mean, I think the question is more interesting than the answer. Everyone should explore this on their own. But let me just explore a few parts with you, right? Okay. So first is, if I gave you an answer, if I said the meaning of life is to please God, well, which God? Okay, Judeo-Christian God. Well, okay, why that one? Why this thing? The problem is it's a why question. You can keep asking why forever, right? Any answer I give you, you'll just ask why again, why again,
like
why
a little
again.
Kid.
That's right. And you end up in a place called Agrippa's trilemma. Okay, this is a philosophical exercise, but I kind of thought it through, then Googled around, and there's a thing called Agrippa's trilemma. And Agrippa's trilemma says that any questioning like this, why, will always end in one of three places. Okay, first is infinite regress, right? Why? Because of this. Why that? Why that? And just keep going forever. The second is circular reasoning. Well, A. Why A? Because of B. Well, why B? Because of A. Right? You get trapped in that. Or the third is an axiom. And the most popular axiom is God, but it could be anything because of math, because of science, because of the Big Bang, because of simulation, right? These are all axioms. These are all just stopping points. Saying simulation, we're in a simulation, or saying it's the Big Bang is just another way of saying God. It's just, God's a dirty word, so we don't use it as much anymore, but same thing. So you end up in one of these three dead ends, essentially, right? So there is no answer. The real answer is because. Right?
What is the meaning of life?
Yeah, you get to make up your own answer is the beauty. If there was a single answer, we would not be free. We would be trapped. Because then we would all have to live to that answer. Then we'd be Borg-like robots, each one competing with each other to fulfill that single meaning more than the others. Back to signaling, like I'm better at it than you are. But luckily, there is no answer. So you just do whatever you want.
The meaning of life. It's funny that's the basis of all existential angst, that you don't
know why you're here.
And you have this feeling that it could be meaningless.